been into scandals, FBI investigation, which we're going to talk about a bit later, physical fights, shutting down businesses because they didn't donate to her campaign, calling people fake news, calling out people for not supporting a black mayor, even though everyone there was black. I mean, it's been crazy. Tiffany Henyard, aka Super Mayor, is now a super loser. The super loser of Dalton. She just got absolutely destroyed in the Democratic primary. We're talking about an 88-12 landslide loss. I mean, that's not just losing. That's getting dragged through the electoral mud. Fair use. Let's take a look.
Dalton residents are ready for a change. Tiffany Henyard has been voted out of the mayor's office.
Joni joins us now with details on this major defeat for Tiffany Henyard. Joni, good morning.
Good morning. Dalton voters, they handed Mayor Tiffany Henyard the defeat and victory to the challenger, Jason House, who will move on to the general election. House won 88% of the vote in what was a bigger turnout than the last election 4 years ago. Now, Mayor Tiffany Henyard yesterday predicted a landslide, but it went the other way. She has been under investigation by the FBI. The Board of Trustees hired Lori Lightfoot to look into the village's finances. Yet Henyard kept her confidence when she visited the polls. Jason House promised more transparency in Dalton and said that the results represent a new future for the village. But Henyard said, don't count her out.
If you don't win, what are you going to do?
I might run for something bigger. You never know. We're not going to talk about that till we get the results, but I am confident that I will have a landslide this evening. My residents do love me despite fake news not showing the good that I do in the community, because I do a ton of good, but y'all just painted me as bad news for 4 years.
We faced 4 years of intimidation, 4 years of failure, and tonight is the new day for the community of Dalton.
Speak with her by phone. She said she accepts the election results. She said, the people have spoken and God must have a different plan for me. It was a far cry from the tone that she struck earlier in the day when she insisted that she would win in spectacular fashion.
Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hey, Tiffany.
How y'all doing?
Tiffany Henyard defiant on this decision day in Dalton. Is there anything in hindsight that you would have done differently over these last 4 years?
Yeah, I would have told on the trustees sooner.
The trustees she refers to are her former allies. 4 years ago, they ran as a slate with Henyard promising transparency and accountability. Instead,
Mayor, we've left you voicemail messages. We had to go to the Illinois Attorney General's office to get you to turn over documents.
residents got a self-proclaimed super mayor who spent tax dollars on travel, self-promotion, and a questionable cancer charity. All of it exposed by WGN Investigates, and now the subject of an ongoing FBI.
His entire slate defeated Mayor Tiffany Henyard's, and tonight, as they celebrate, they're also promising transparency and accountability. Senior trustee Jason House, now the Democratic nominee for mayor of Dalton, unseating his one-time ally, Tiffany Henyard.
We faced 4 years of intimidation, 4 years of failure, and tonight is the new day for the community of Dalton.
Years of infighting between the mayor and her board of trustees over Henyard's lack of transparency on spending spilled over into explosive public meetings, putting Dalton under the microscope of 2 outside investigations, one of them.
House will now move on to the general election in April. Let's get right to our Regina Waldrop. She is live in Dalton tonight with reaction. Regina.
Allison, Stephan, we're monitoring this situation going on in here right now. It is a celebration happening, but a short time ago, some type of fight did break out right here that we are monitoring on a day that many say is a pivotal one for this community. They are escorting someone out we see here, but we do want to tell you that so many people told me they believe this is a new day for Dalton.
It's a new day for Dalton, RJ.
They fought again.
Yeah, probably people got drunk after winning. You know, getting drunk off the victory.
Yeah.
You know, when people
Hey,
get
man.
drunk, when the uncles get drunk, you know what always happens? I can do this better than you, you sucker.
Hey man, it's not like a graceful defeat at all, right? So to get absolutely demolished, 88-12, it's a disgrace, but it also speaks to the emotions and the feelings and the opinion of the people of Dalton. Tiffany is saying that the fake news is responsible for spreading untruths, spreading lies. But is it the news, Tiffany? In any case, KaiR, what's next, man? What else do you have to say? Because to me,
yeah,
of course now this is just like a small. It's a small. At least it's one step of the story, one part of the story that we're gonna cover. But there's also an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later on, a little bit later. But let's go back. Let's go back in time. Tiffany has been mayor of Dalton since 2021, and she came in as the strong super mayor, bold, confident leader who was gonna make a change. But over time, that superhero turned into a raggedy hero. She's been into scandals, FBI investigation, which we're going to talk about a bit later, physical fights, shutting down businesses because they didn't donate to her campaign, calling people fake news, calling out people for not supporting a black mayor, even though everyone there was black. I mean, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy last 2 years of her time as a mayor. But I'm gonna take a look back at a beautiful poll right here. This is what we got.
Let me check.
This is what we got. This is the poll. This is the. There are 16,500 voters, registered voters in the village of Dalton. They had a turnout of 27%. 4,000 people, 4.5 almost, came to the ballots to cast their votes. At the end, 537 people voted for her. 537. Almost 4,000 people voted for Jason. Even though Jason cannot dance, he's very bad at giving high fives because he's missing high fives as well. Just to give you an idea, in 2021, these were the polls back then.
Ballots cast, 29,000.
So I think that's for the whole precinct. So it's not specifically for Dalton, because it doesn't make sense if you look at the percentages that are on the right side. But there were 1,000 votes for her back then. So they have the votes, and there were far more people showing up for this time, because as you can see, if you count this amount, we put everything together, it's almost the whole. It's everything that even less than Jason got. So it was a major defeat. She got destroyed. That's the only way you can put it. That's the only way. And right now, Dalton is happy about this. Let's take a look. Fair use.
Their hopes for the village.
A shift in leadership now in Dalton's future. We met up with 3 longtime residents to talk about the challenges the community has faced and how it can move forward. Dan Lee has lived in the village 30 plus years.
We need to get all professionals into these department heads rather than cronies. That's where you have to start. You got to change the structure of the permits. You got to change the structure of the permit and licenses situation.
Valeria Stubbs is focused on public safety, the workings of board meetings, and attracting new businesses. She's a former trustee who's called Dalton home for 24 years.
I hope they vet a new police chief and make Dalton safe. Hopefully we will get other government agencies to help us fund our community and clean it up.
40 years, that's how long Robert Pearson has lived here.
I want to see the community return to a clean community where we have law-abiding citizens. There's ordinances in place that should govern our community. And if you follow those ordinances, this would be a beautiful place. I'd love to see the restaurants come back. Sibley was full of restaurants.
And having Village Hall completely open again, another thing residents told us they would like to see. Right now it's just restricted to this small entryway, which only has a few seats.
It's so unfair that you go into the little 4x6 space and you have a trillion other people in there and you trying to discuss your business.
Voters with different ideas and focuses, all aimed at making their community better.
So we're talking here about basically bringing back businesses. That's going to be one of the key things that Jason will have to focus on. I think it's clear that Tiffany didn't do a lot, and whatever she did, she was trying to strong arm that restaurant. I don't know if you remember, she got the contempt of court, indirect contempt of court, I think, when she didn't sign the liquor license. She was basically trying to strong arm that restaurant to move out, so because they put up a brand new building. She was trying to strong arm them, get them to foreclosure, and then so maybe she can move in with her allegedly boyfriend. That's what I've heard on the streets. But then she got to sign it. But this is the thing, she hasn't developed the the village. It was a mess. It's only spending of money. And of course, I mean, hey, people, she's been talking about being popular, fake news, but the polls don't lie. Votes don't lie. Ajay.
At least she respects him. That's what she said. She said she at least respects the outcome. She accepts it as well. She would now have to go run for president, apparently, because she said if it doesn't work, she'll go bigger
offices.
I mean, you can go for the governor.
If you lose small, you can also lose bigger. You can lose big.
Well, I disagree. You can't lose bigger. You probably won't even be allowed to compete in order to lose bigger. Because you need to have the chance to compete first. And there are other more prominent people, more qualified people to assume the positions.